welcome to Build Series Sydney. I'm Kate Peck, and on the couch today we have the limiest and most cordial musos of Sydney, brothers of Lime Cordiale, Lou and Oli. Please make them very welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was almost a standing ovation. You haven't even said anything.
Just everyone was sitting. Standing. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Boys, welcome home. You've been on your biggest tour in Oz ever, 22 dates. It's been pretty epic. It must be nice to be back in Sydney.
Yeah, I think we're about halfway through. So
Yeah.
in between being away each weekend. It's lovely to be home.
Are you
Lovely to
at
be
home
away.
home? Because you two live together, don't you?
Yeah. So home on the northern beaches, and it's pretty nice in Australia. You just like tour on the weekend. You can, and then it's just like detox when you get home. So it's pretty good having Monday, Tuesday is your weekend. No one's around. It's very chill.
Go for a surf,
Yeah.
clean your knickers.
Oh yeah, a lot of that.
Just cleaning
Pretty much.
knickers.
Mainly that.
Well, Louis been losing his voice at like the end of each run as well. So we're like trying to treat that, and then he gets to have a little rest as well.
So how do you treat that when you do start to lose your voice? Is it chamomile tea, or do you have like a special throat human that helps you?
Yeah, there is a throat human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a massaging of the throat.
Oh, really?
Resetting the
Do
glands.
they get
Got a bit
in
of-
there like that way, or do they go that way?
It was
No,
like
that-
very
I'm that,
sus
but-
in Brisbane. Like he's doing this and massaging. I'm like, I feel like it's just very expensive, and we don't know whether anything happened. But
Got one needle in the throat.
yeah, it's
Acupuncture.
Sounds a bit brutal.
But yeah.
kind of like the Reiki of throat medicine doctors. Yeah.
Sounds fascinating. I
Yeah.
might give it a crack. I might come out with a slightly deeper voice.
Yeah, maybe.
So the tour, you've been jamming now for 10 years, which is a pretty solid innings. You've said that this tour has been one of your best. What did it look like when it was one of your worst?
One of the worst. I mean, you play a lot of tours where you have to accept that there's going to be no one in the room for a bunch of those shows. So early on, I mean, we did a lot of shows early on because we just take on any gig that we could. So we'd do a wedding, a cheapo wedding, or we'd do like a pub in Sydney. We'd do things at like the surf club, or just whatever we could do, like little market days and stuff like that. So
50-year-old parties.
Yeah.
50th.
I mean, I think
lots of those.
this is our busiest year gig-wise, but I think our second busiest year was probably like in 2012 when we were just taking on everything. We probably did about 80 shows and played to about 20 people over the whole year.
So, what out of that? Was a wedding? Did you have to sing your songs, or did they force you into singing like other covers?
I remember do you remember that one we did in Sydney Harbour? And it was ages ago. I remember they wanted us to do like a clarinet trumpet duet. It was just like, I don't know, we had a weird style earlier on. We were mainly playing like acoustic guitars, and we just had no idea. We're not one of those bands that like planned what was going to happen in our career. We just sort of started and made a lot of mistakes and did everything very organically, and then got to whatever we're doing now.
It's kind of like you need to make a lot of shit art to know that your art is good art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's a theory we could present to people.
And the difference, though, because now you've got more money, you're a little bit older, you've got different priorities. Like, what is the difference now when you're touring? You get throat massages and needles in throat.
That's the luxury.
Yeah.
So it's pure, like, it's just building up the luxury and
It's
having
not,
a bit
I
more.
mean, it's not at all really, but we definitely don't have a masseuse backstage or anything like that. It's not that different, apart from we might have like 2 cases of beer backstage instead of like a drink ticket each. That's like the only difference.
So you're not sharing the same, like, blow-up mattress anymore.
No, we share. We still share a bed
We share a bed every now and then.
Do we go
Yeah.
top to tail, or do we go, like, just side by
on
side?
top of each other.
Oh yeah, we spoon. It's like Louis really bad. He wake up in the middle of the night and he'll be like hugging me instead we share a bed.
Stroking.
And so I'll then go, hey Louis, can you please just move over? And he goes, oh Jesus! Like he's obviously dreaming that there's a girl next to him, and then
Yeah.
he realizes what he's doing. So
Only dream.
yeah,
So you're not sleeping naked, though.
not always. No.
It depends how hot it is. Yeah.
But
Like
I mean,
in
the
the
other
bed
guys
or
in the
not?
band,
Bit of
they
both.
do that. They do that too. Our sound guy and our trombone player have a very special bond. So they, they'll often share a bed together. This only happens because last minute I always, tell management and things that we're actually this person's coming. Oh, we want to take a photographer, and this person's coming as well. So we always just accommodations booked for 8 people, and then suddenly there's 10 or something, and so we'll have people on the floor and people
make it
sharing
work.
beds. It's fine.
Just get them drunk enough, and then
lovely.
they'll fall asleep anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do that as well. And Europe, so you went and did Europe, but originally you weren't, your management weren't so keen on you going to Europe. Why was that? How did you convince them?
Well, we've tried to go to Europe a few times, and there's just really no point us going. It's a very expensive endeavor, and we just said this, beginning of this year, we just said we're definitely going. We really don't care what happens. We just want to go to Europe. I wanted to sort of just go on a holiday, and it just feels better having a purpose anyway. And so it was really surprising because we really had it in our minds that we would be playing to just a small amount of people. And then the first show was in Vienna, and there was 150 people there at the first show, and they were all singing the lyrics and all knew who we were, and so we just it was kind of freaky. Yeah.
How good!
Yeah,
what a nice
really
surprise.
good.
But I heard
Sort of
this
grew
story
from there.
about your nan, about your nana.
Oh, about our grandma?
Yeah.
How we sort of blamed the trip on her.
Yes, could you give me a bit more detail
What's
about
that? I'm a bit lost.
So we, with the management, they were like, we can't afford to go over.
Oh, yes.
So we just sort of said that our grandma was on her deathbed and
Yeah.
sort of blocked out those 2 months.
Which she
saying
is. She's old, so
not
every
on
old
the
person
deathbed,
is not in the bed. She's in the chair, but she's
on the way.
You're just
way out
sending
there.
her a little earlier. Yeah, you're just
Yeah,
throwing
yeah.
her under the bus completely there. Did she go along with this? I mean, she gets a visit from her grandkids, right? It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, she did. She did. So I mean, we have family all over the world, and so we always have relatives at our shows. It's kind of the rest of the band are just how many cousins do you have? We don't even really know most of our family, but from touring, we're sort of getting to know them all. In America, we have our dad's got 5 brothers and a couple of sisters or something like that. I don't really know.
So there's always a weird third cousin that's at the
that
show.
turns up at the shows.
Like
It's
two
always a
heads and,
family.
Yeah.
Brings the
couple of
crowd.
teeth.
They bring the crowd. It's good.
You rent a family everywhere you go and just tell people that it's your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, exactly.
I do that as well. No.
Yeah.
And so festivals, I mean, the shows that you were doing over there, you had some sellout shows as well in London.
Yeah.
What were the festivals like? What are the Euro fans like? Are they wild? Are they lunatics?
Yeah, they are. They're just it's a kind of a different vibe in Europe. They're very good at drinking. We're not very good at it. We just get as pissed as possible and just as loose as possible, and then we get into trouble for it. But over there, they'll go out all night and they'll drink and they'll get drunk, but they're just. I feel like they don't just go hard early on. It's a bit more sophisticated, and it's something that I feel like we can learn from a little bit, because they'll be out until 10 in the morning, especially in Berlin or something, but just no one's super loose. They're all just having a really good time, and they're all really there for the music. And I mean, I got to say, I do like a super loose Australian crowd as well, but yeah, it's really cool.
It's refreshing, right?
Yeah.
Did you pick
Yeah.
up a few drinking skills then?
We got our
Drink a bit slower.
Yeah, we went over to Germany, and I think we had the Australian drinking sense built into us. So we're in Bavaria and south of Germany, and we went to this beer festival, and we were just let's go get those massive, big German beers, straight up. So we'll have what that guy's having, and they're 9%. So we had a few of those, and we were jet lagged, and it was a full meat festival, so we didn't eat anything because we're vegetarian, and so we just got really smashed. We were just pretty much on the floor after a few of those massive beers. So, yeah.
So you went in hard.
They're all bigger than us
Just
there as well, skinny
representing.
Australian boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
quite embarrassing.
Who holds whose hair back then when we get into these situations?
I definitely fell asleep under the car before
Yeah.
the festival had
It's a good place to hide if you don't have the keys.
If you have the keys, it's probably the better place to
Yeah,
hide.
yeah.
If someone else has the keys, it could get dangerous.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, but working together and brothers, like, how do you manage the creative together? Like, who do you get into arguments? Is there a more dominant one? Do you know each other's strengths and weaknesses to perfection?
Yeah.
I think we just learnt how to give each other space. Just
Yeah.
been living together and working together and driving everywhere together and sort of giving each other space is what we need, and sort of we
Yeah.
argue all the time and fight and punch each other, but
Yeah, the songwriting thing's interesting because we don't really have like a formula. We don't do it the same way every time. A lot of the time, Louis might write a song. It might even be like close to finish, but then I'll go in, and it's pretty hard showing each other songs because it's going to get slightly ripped apart. It doesn't get ripped apart too much, but like there's always going to be something like, oh, I reckon that can be better, and you might think that that's just like the best thing you've ever written, and so I know you kind of got to manage it, like giving the space and giving some time to get used to the song instead of going in there and being like, oh, I'm gonna really give it my 2 cents straight away and rip it apart and try and do this and change it and whatever. I think, I think we've just got better at writing a lot of songs and giving ourselves space from the songs as well. We might write something. I'll show it to Louis. He might go like, "Oh, it's all right," and then I'll go, "Okay, cool. I'll leave it." And then I'll write another song, and in maybe a month's time, he might discover the song and go like, "Oh, I really like this song." I'm like, "I showed that to you, and you hated it,
idiot."
And he's like, "Oh, I actually really like it." So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you need that time as well to let things sink in, and so is that an advantage because you will get such honest, raw feedback from each other that a lot of people would be too scared to give you.
Yeah, I think you get good at, we're really good at just making up from fights. Like, we get pretty pissed off at each other, and then like half an hour later, it's sort of better, and so we sort of know that. So we might get into like a little argument, just walk away, and then just come back like, all right, let's pick that up again. So that's probably fine because we're brothers. You can't really. It's either like never talk to each other ever again, or just make up and just it's all good.
Yeah, it's easier that way.
Yeah, it's sort of. But
Now,
I feel like if we weren't, if we were just mates, it might be harder. You just don't really know each other inside out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you take it a bit more personally.
Yeah.
Daggers hurt a bit more.
For sure.
Robbery. So the tour is called Robbery, and you were just in Europe, and so this film clip, which was awesome, across 7 countries, you produced and directed it yourself, which was quite a big deal, squeezing all that in. I was exhausted watching it because I thought it was on a green screen, but it definitely
It
wasn't.
looks like it though, doesn't it? That's what my main thing when I first saw it. I was like, I feel like people are just going to think this is in a studio.
too cliche.
Yeah.
But it was like so bang on the places that you were filming. You probably definitely shouldn't have been filming as well, like the
Yeah.
Eiffel Tower and.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, we just had this really good small camera that sort of looked like we were just tourists. I mean, we were tourists, but so it was kind of easy to sneak around and do that sort of thing. But yeah, Jack, who has done a lot of our other music videos, I think he just wanted an excuse for a holiday and to be on tour with us. So we just pretty much got his flight over there, and then he would wake us up at like 7 a.m. after a show, which is so brutal. Like I like halfway through, I had very little faith in this music video. I was like, this is not worth the early mornings. And then it turned out good.
It was really good. You must have been so happy when you saw it come up as well as it did. You
Yeah, I mean,
didn't
there's
look
one
hungover or
scene
tired at
of
all.
me as the girl, because we needed to find a girl in every in each city. So occasionally it was just like someone was at the show or like a family friend or something. But then there's one shot in Cornwall. We didn't have anyone, so I just put on the dress, and you can tell because I'm just doing this.
Real
I was trying to
stompy.
do this real sexy walk. Like, it's really hard.
Visual.
Couldn't get it out. I was trying to be sexy, and I just couldn't. You see that, my just man butt and this
Man
like
butt.
weird walk. Yeah.
How is a man butt different to a lady butt?
I don't know. It kind of looks like a lady wearing a nappy or something. So it just doesn't really. It's like
Maybe
bow-legged
non-existent
walk.
as well. Your little
Yeah.
bony butt.
It did look like a man in some scenes, but that was what was so good about it. She
Yeah,
kind
good.
of morphed. Maybe she'd put on a few more kilos in one of the European countries, and then she'd lost a few coming to Paris.
Too many Cornish pasties.
Yeah, a few too many croissants.
Yeah.
And it's so the song, I mean, it's so popular. It's on such high rotation at Triple J. You must be pretty stoked to turn on the radio and it's like there every single time.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. Although, like, you put on the radio to hear other music, so if the music,
that's
you
true.
sort of turn it down.
Is it weird to hear yourself on the radio?
It's weird when you're sort of having a conversation with someone else and then your song comes on because you can't not listen to it. It's
Yeah.
sort of in the back of your head.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
they
playing
know
there.
too.
Yeah.
You can't help but be like pretty stoked though. Honestly, it's like, oh, it's just my song on the radio. Don't worry about it.
Drop the mic and walk off.
Yeah, it's good.
And then I mean, so the creative behind your film clips, they're so effing funny. Who brings the humor? Who brings this loose unit style?
Kind of Oli and the director Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys sort of...
Yeah, I mean, we just like.
Write
I mean,
it
you're
up.
normally there as well, but like, we'll just have like we'll just sit there and talk about and just sort of get weird and I don't know, try not to do something too cliche music video, but just I don't know, something that'll just be enjoyable, really. Like, and also try and not because they're always really low budget music videos, but we just try and not worry about that. Try and work it out the best way possible. If it's how do you work around that? Even if your costumes end up being a bit Mighty Boosh inspired or something, it's pretty easy to do on a low budge. But yeah,
We've still got the tag on that shirt, so I'm presuming that you're going to return
expensive
it to
shirt.
Vinny.
You got to show people what it is. $7 Salvo's number. Yeah.
And
wear.
inappropriate behaviour, that is such a rockin' track. And the film clip reminded me of when you filmed Say It with Brian Brown.
Yeah.
That kind of the person in there telling you that you're doing a shit job and you need to do this and et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. Was it a little bit of a throwback or was it just something totally different and you found this badass little bitch who's like 7 years old?
She's pretty badass.
Yeah, we sort of knew that idea was recycled, but we didn't really tell. I think Jack had couldn't really remember that clip, and we just sort of thought no one had seen it, so just like, we'll just do it again. And then everyone
done
was
too
kinda
much
like,
research,
It's kind of
sorry.
exactly the same as that old music video you did, but yeah. I
What's
don't
the
know.
most inappropriate thing you've seen at one of your gigs or events or festivals?
I mean,
I saw someone boogie boarding over the crowd once.
oh yeah,
That's pretty
Boogie
cool.
boards. How good.
yeah. That was in a Morning Peninsula. Yeah, someone just brought a boogie along and got up there.
A big old boogie.
Yeah.
How do you even get up that? How do you physically do that?
I don't know, it beats me, but it's definitely like as soon as you hit the coast a little bit more in Australia, it's like people just like surfing. So it's like actually people are on top of crowds more. It's interesting.
Well, I mean, so you must have like some favourite venues with the 22 dates that you're going on for the Robbery tour, which is sponsored by Triple J as well. So what have been some of the highlights? Where are you looking to go? Where are you looking forward to in January?
In January, after the tour's finished, I mean, we're playing the Australian Open.
Yeah,
which
that's
I
going to
think
be
is-
rad.
That's going to be a highlight because we've been playing a little bit of tennis recently, and like
Skills.
there's a few rules that I don't really know. I keep meaning to look up. Like when you do a let, I mean, do you just get another go, or does it count as a fault? I'm not sure, so I just need to be at the game
Yeah.
just to like confirm some of these. So I don't even know how many sets you're meant to play, how many games you're meant to play in a set, in a match, all that sort of stuff. Kind of know, but I just keep meaning to look it up.
And
So
you'll
sort of
have
need to
to-
be at a professional game.
Yeah, maybe Serena Williams might have a few like pointers. Do you reckon you
Well, we
can-
keep asking, like, do we get tickets for the thing? And they go, oh, yeah, like, it'll be sweet. And I'm like, can we secure those? I feel like we're not actually going to get in
not
Yeah.
actually
to be able to
getting
watch
through.
a game.
Play
Just
the
keep
show
going, yeah,
outside.
it'll be sweet. It'll be sweet.
Yeah, we'll get no worries. But I guess you don't really know who's playing on which court until.
Yeah, I think that's what they're waiting.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
If it's someone good, we won't
Yeah.
get tickets.
And back to your festival. So, like, what state do you have the loosest fans? Like, where do you feel that you shine the best in Australia?
I think sort of the rural towns are pretty loose and they're really fun to go to. I think there's maybe less judgment in rural towns.
Yeah,
'Cause they're
less
just
chance
there for
of
a
someone
good
from like
time.
a label and
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
being in there, so you just really don't care, just have a good time.
Yeah, maybe less shows there, so they're not
Yeah,
not as judgmental.
And I guess the fans are so keen out there as well because they just don't get the access that we get in the main
yeah,
cities.
definitely.
And so you don't end up with some
I
awful
mean, New
review.
Zealand's like that as well. They're just like super appreciative. Every time you talk to someone after, they're just like, "Thank you for coming to New Zealand. No one ever comes here." So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got mad music over in New Zealand. Like such good music comes out of there. Fat Freddy's Drop and like every dub reggae band that's any good comes out of New Zealand. So, yeah.
So is that? Are they people that you look forward to going and seeing live? Like, do you take inspiration during your festival season from other bands?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you just sort of watch other bands and yeah, I'm going to do that next show. We
Steal a bit of
copy a
this.
lot. Like we will definitely. I think that's the best thing about being in a band is like you get all your inspiration from seeing and listening to as much stuff as possible, and then you distill your favorite parts, and that's what makes your music. You know, I feel like people don't say that enough because it's like it's a bit like what you're stealing stuff, but like even with songwriting, you know, like I really like that drum sound or that like even that little hook there, and you just sort of put it in your song mixed with something else that you're inspired by, and like it just turns into your own thing.
It's like recycling evolution, kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
Totally.
It's it all, circle of life.
Yeah.
The circle of artistic life. And so Money as well, which is a cracking track. I think I really enjoyed your acting in this one. Is the acting a plan B if music just doesn't go the right direction?
Probably for Louis. Louis was pretty good. Yeah.
Good lady.
Yeah, you're a really good lady. Yeah.
We've been.
He's good in drag.
Oh yeah.
It's
I am.
like, yeah.
I feel good.
Did you have to shave your legs?
No, I didn't shave my legs. I wish I did.
Well, Chuggy watched the whole clip and didn't even know. It's our manager, Michael Chug, but he didn't even know it was Louis. He just, I don't even know if he knew it was a guy just as a girl. He watched the whole clip. It's the same with Naturally. We have one of our friends who he's lost heaps of weight now, but he was quite large during that music video, and he just thought it was a girl as well the whole way through. So
That's so good. That's an achievement right there.
yeah.
Okay, we've got some Q&A questions for you, boys.
I thought that's what we were doing.
Yeah, pretty much. No, these are from the audience.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here we go. Who's the more talented brother from Shania?
You're asking us that.
Yeah.
Can we go into separate rooms to answer that?
Who do you think's more talented? You got balanced talents?
Yeah, I think we got balanced talents.
Okay, that's what we'll
Balanced
call
talents.
it.
I mean, we sort of do different things. Louis does like all of our artwork for our albums and posters and stuff like that, and then I'll tackle the music videos and things. And even with the songwriting, it's just a little bit different. I feel like from Louis' years of playing bass, his grooves and drum beats, I can't really achieve grooves like he can, but
On the clarinet.
yeah, I'll whip out a couple of clarinet melodies.
Yin to the yang. I like it. This is from Peter Pan. What's next for Lime Cordiale? Any future collabs coming up?
I think so. We're going to America to maybe do some writing with some people,
Yeah.
whatever that means.
Sounds like
we
that's
don't know.
on the down low. We don't know. We
We
just
don't
roll
know.
with the
I'm not
punches.
really sure. It's like
Snows.
next year's gonna hopefully we've done a lot of shows in Australia this year, so I think next year is going to be a bit of in the States and Europe, and there might be some collabs coming out of there. Hopefully,
What about a cheeky album?
there'll definitely be an album next year.
Yeah?
yeah.
Awesome. Like start, end, mid of year.
Mid to early mid,
Start.
something
Mid
like
to
that.
start.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. So we can start getting excited about
I mean,
it now.
the album's finished. It's just about getting it out. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
you got it.
needs to be mastered. Louis needs to do the album cover, and then we're good to go.
So you must be chomping at the bit. Like, what are we expecting? Different things from this album, or any little tidbits of juice you can give us?
I mean, I reckon like we worked with the same producer as Permanent Vacation, and I think we felt more comfortable with him, and he's really good at saying yes to things, and we sort of worked that out over the course of recording the first album. So like we can just we can say anything. I want to go out and record that frog in in the backyard and then like distort it and turn it into a snare sound or something. And he'd be like, "Oh, cool, let's try it." So we just got, I think we got as experimental as possible. Not that like, I mean, it just makes the songs sound like the song's going to be really, really weird. But
Frogs, so we can expect frogs.
But I mean, like we recorded it at a farm, so we did go outside and record things like that, and we just thought up stupid things and sort of tried to make it work.
Awesome.
I'm pretty
Sounds
excited.
like a fairy tale
The
land.
B-side tracks, get a bit weirder.
Yes, how fan. Okay, we've got Sylvia. Heard you've signed with Post Malone's label. How did that come about? What has that experience been like?
It's a pretty weird collaboration, that's for sure. How did we meet? So Post was playing a show in Australia. One of his big stadium shows, was having a big after party, and a fan of ours was at the after party and showed him and his manager our music, and he just loved it and contacted us. And
That's
Yeah.
bonkers.
yeah,
She actually got them in a really busy room to sit down
Well, it was
next
sort
to a
of like-
speaker.
It was it was a sexy girl in a room with the manager. So it's say no more. And then he said, like, put up, why don't you put on like, your favorite song at the moment? She put on one of ours. So then supposedly he went around and showed everyone the album. He didn't know anything about us, so which is kind of nice because it means like they liked the music before anything. They weren't looking at numbers or stats or anything. They just liked the music. And then she messaged us on Instagram, and I just woke up to a message saying, "Oh yeah, Post Malone's manager wants to talk to you. Here's his Instagram." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." But might as well
Good one,
message him.
dickhead.
And so then, it just kind of went from there.
Wow. So
Yeah.
he chose your music over Sexy Girl.
Yeah, supposedly. Like he,
maybe it was playing in the background.
yeah.
And what does that mean to be signed with them? Like, is that are their future plans mapped out, or?
I mean, it's a co-management thing. So it's mainly for the rest of the world. They're, co-managing. We're sort of like, we don't really know. We're sort of going with the flow and seeing how it all pans out, really.
It sounds pretty cool, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have
it's
to
not
get
bad.
like a tat? Because he's got lots of tats.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what
go.
words to put under here. Just some real vague stuff. Not quite sure.
Frogs and music.
Yeah.
And last but not least from Chris, what would your next like a version be? Or what would your dream like a version be, should I say?
I
Guess
mean,
Triple J.
yeah, like we definitely went back and forth a few times. What was, we really wanted to do Can't Take My Eyes Off You. And that's what we felt. But they were saying like, oh, maybe it's a little bit too like wedding band, and kind of talked us out of it. But sort of would love to do that, a cover of that live or something.
So you discuss it with them beforehand and they say...
Yeah, go back
no.
and forth a little bit.
Interesting.
Makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
don't want you to do some song no one's ever heard of from the 40s or something.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's nice. All right, boys. Well, thank you so much for coming in and chatting.
Thank you.
You're only halfway through your tour, and you are playing Thursday at the Roundhouse, correct?
Yep.
So, guys, go and get your tickets. There's plenty more gigs to get tickets to. Follow along. New album on the way, and a big round of applause for Lime Cordiale.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
A sitting ovation.
Love it.
Thanks heaps.